Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakafadash. Double honor to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of the video is Let Them Be Confounded and Put to Shame. I'm basically just getting on Esau, Edom, of course, right? Babylon the Great, America, the oppressors, the Israelites, right? Which would be the Israelites would be the so-called black man, woman, and child, the Native American, right? Woman and child, man also, right? In our Bible, our book is the Bible, right? We are the Israelites mentioned in that book. The white man is Esau, Edom, mentioned in that book, right? The wicked, right? And just like the scriptures say, it says Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? So Esau is currently ruling the world, pursuant to Job 9:24. And as you can see, where everything that's been happening, he's bringing it to an end, right, through what would be now World War III, right, because we have entered into that thanks to Donald Trump, right, and Jacob will be the Israelites, and they're next to follow, as in they're next for rulership for the kingdom, right. So that's the time period we're living in. So anyway, getting into the news real quick. There's a lot happening going on around the world. Exciting times. This is Isaiah 19:1. Says this message came to me concerning Egypt. Egypt is America, right? It says, look, the Lord Yahweh is advancing against Egypt, riding on a swift cloud. And you can clearly see that because all hell is breaking loose in America. All American allies is turning on them. You have Japan upset. You have India, who was like an ally to America for like a week, now upset after they, America fell out with China. So Trump tried to join India. That lasted about a week, and now India is upset at them, right? Russia is upset at them. Even some of Trump's close allied cabinet members are upset with what he just did regarding starting World War III, or starting World War III, right? And it seems that he has not even achieved anything at all, right? For the most part, hey, I guess he had to do what he had to do regarding Benjamin Netanyahu. They were pressuring Trump to make a move, but the scriptures say that the least of flock shall draw them out to the war and make their habitation desolate with them. And it, let me grab that because that's exactly what I was looking at. Now, because how the hell do you go over and do something and don't do nothing at all, right? You attack somebody and did nothing. You know what I mean? You did nothing. America says Jeremiah 49:20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, that he have taken against Edom, and his purposes that he have proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So America, Israel is going to draw America to a war, right, which would be World War III, and then their habitation become desolate. That means totally destroyed by nuclear warfare. And what Trump has did and what it's proven to be is that he went over there because, as we can see, obviously, Benjamin Netanyahu is pressuring him to do that, right? Pressuring him to do something for Israel. So he did it. Now he's talking about, okay, job done. I'm done with it. I'm through with it. I did what I had to do. Now we can go to peace. The scriptures say when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them, right? And Trump been saying peace and safety for a long time, and this is the one, right? Because he messed up. He messed up. All right. I didn't see any. I don't know how they planned that, but they basically they didn't hit anything. They didn't do anything. That's the point I'm getting at in this video. This is Isaiah 19:1. It says, "This message came to me concerning Egypt. Look, the Lord Yahweh is advancing against Egypt, riding on a swift cloud." Right. So the Lord Yahweh Bashmi is coming with chariots. So Trump has a space force that ain't gonna work. Right. Trump has a space force preparing for this battle, but that ain't gonna work. It said the idols of Egypt trembled. The hearts of the Egyptians melt with fear. It says, I will make Egyptian fight against Egyptian. Hey, that's happening more so now than ever, too. A lot of these Edomites is bucking up. You have MAGA. MAGA is highly upset. All right, they voted for no wars, the end wars in 24 hours, right? Cheap gas and a whole bunch of other shit, and none of that shit's gonna happen. All right, gas about to be high as hell. All right, and it's gonna be more wars. It says, "I will make Egyptian fight against Egyptian, brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, province against province." Hey, yo, let Iran block the Strait few miles, over there with them oil. We can't get oil over here. Things start depleting and the city starts shutting down. No more gas stations, right? No more factories. You can't have no food in your refrigerators. Hey, all of that shit, all of that stuff can pop off. And it seemed like Iran. That's exactly what they seen. It says, this is the point. Isaiah 19:3 says the Egyptian will lose heart, and I will confuse their plans. I don't know what the hell Trump then was thinking when they sent those B-2 bombers over there and they didn't do nothing at all. Right? This man, and the way he said America is the best. He said the only military in the world that could do what they just did is America. And they ain't do nothing. So I don't know what the hell. I don't know, bro. It says the it's like oh man, it's too funny. It says the Egyptians will lose heart and I will confuse their plans. So the Most High Yahweh will confuse the hell out of their plans. They really thought what they was going to do was going to do something. It says they will plead with their idols for wisdom. That's exactly what Trump doing right now. Benjamin Netanyahu, they crying, for some type of help because their whole plan was Iran can't have a nuclear weapon, right? So we're going to go there and we're going to deceive them, pretend that we're, you know, what is it, doing negotiations with them, look at all the land, scope it out, see all the scientists, and then we're going to attack all the scientists simultaneously, right? And then we're gonna send the B-2 bombers over there and just finish off the job. But they didn't finish off the job, So hey, it was a horrible plan. It says they will plead with their idols for wisdom and call them spirits, mediums, and those who consult the spirits of the dead. All right, make sure this thing. Okay, yeah, it's live. Or it says I will hand Egypt over to a hard, cruel master. Yo, when Trump did this, that's nothing. He didn't ask nobody. What he did was illegal. You, it was illegal. You can't. So they say. I'm not a military general, but I listen to those guys. Uh, you can't do what Trump did. You can't just attack some people, without declaring, your laws and yeah, I'm going to war with you, whatnot. We had a disagreement. Yo, they surprise attacked him, kind of like what Israel did. Israel surprise attack Iran. That was illegal. A lot of legal shit going on. It says, I will hand Egypt over to a hard, cruel master. That's Esau coming down with great wrath too. Because he have but a short time. This man, he got agendas. That's the whole point. He set these agendas up. Hey, every day is a new day. And that's another day that the agenda is not being fulfilled. So he got deadlines for himself. He set deadline for himself, for that reason. Isaiah 19:4 says, I will hand Egypt over to a hard, cruel master. A fierce king will rule them. Says the Lord Yahweh, Bashmi Awashai, the Lord of heaven's armies. Yeah, that's Trump. Trump is that cruel master because he don't care what your law talking about. He gonna do what he want to do, right? And so the point was in 3, confusing their plan. That was a horrible plan. They didn't do anything. We have this video here. It said that the U.S. bombers failed to damage Iranian nuclear sites. Marco Rubio pleads to China. Hey, and matter of fact, I was watching a video earlier with Scott Rittler, and forgot the other guy name who show he was on, but even Scott Rittler, right, which is a formal weapons inspector specialist, something like that in the military, right? And then he go there and he check all the stuff out once they hit their targets and whatnot. So anyway, he said he didn't do nothing either.
It seems Donald Trump's excitement on bombing Iranian nuclear facilities to help Benjamin Netanyahu's illegal war on Iran may be short lived. Worse, all indications are showing that this could become one of the greatest military failures by the US. The revelation coincides with the news of the Iranian parliament voting overwhelmingly in favor of closing the Strait of Hormuz. Once implemented, This would come to bite not just the global economy, but also Trump, the businessman, and his country's economy. No wonder Marco Rubio's false bravado has evaporated, and he is now begging China to intervene and persuade Iran to not block the Strait of Hormuz. Now let's look at these rapidly changing, extraordinary developments. As I said in my previous video, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi had issued a chilling warning to the US for attacking Iran. You can watch my video here. Iran fired more ballistic missiles into Israeli cities, causing widespread destructions. This was after Trump had claimed on social media and during his televised address to the nation how B 2 stealth bombers had completely destroyed the Iranian nuclear facilities in Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. As I said last night, the extent of the claimed damage could only be seen once satellite photos become available in the daytime. The satellite photo did arrive, and it's embarrassing for Trump and his administration, to say the least. First, see this before and after photo carried by the BBC. Can you spot any difference? B 2 stealth bombers were expected to penetrate through the mountain and destroy the nuclear facilities deep inside 80 meters. At least that's what we were told by the Western media. But all we see here, after zooming the image, is a small crater. The white structure remains unscathed and intact. What does this mean? Mike,
Hey, so hey, that's what they tell him. That's what they saying. Even like I said, the same dude, Scott Rittler, weapons inspector, said the same thing. He said Trump was boasting. He didn't know, he don't know what he did. He don't know what he did. He just said he boasted all that. It's not good. It's not a good look for America at all. This is 14 and 7, right? Isaiah Luke 14 and 7, parable of the guest. I'm kind of relate this to what Trump did. Because for lack of better scriptures, I can't think of right now. I think it's pretty good. But Luke 14 and 7, it says, and he put forth a parable to those which were bidden, when he marked how they chose out the chief room, saying unto them, when thou art bidden for of any man to a wedding, sit not down in the highest room, lest a more honorable man than thou be bidden of him. And the point that I'm saying is basically, Trump jumped the gun of knowing what was up, by saying, oh, America this, America that, only America do this, we did that, we did that, before even, considering or knowing what exactly what you did, where's the confirmed targets, and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. The Most High Yahweh confused the hell out of these planes. It says, and he that bade thee and him come in safety, give this man place, and thou begin with shame to take the lowest room. Let me read that again. It says, and he put forth a parable to those which were bidden, when he marked how they chose out the chief room, saying unto them, when thou art bidden of any man to a wedding, sit not down in the highest room, lest a more honorable man than thou be bidden of him. And he that bade thee, and him come in safety, give this man place, and thou begin with shame to take the lowest room. So, kind of like Trump, now he's shamed. And, hey, that's good. Shameful spoon on the glory of these devils, because they don't need to be glorying in anything. They're wicked as hell, right? And the light is coming to it, So it says, but when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room, that when he that bade thee cometh, he may say unto thee, friend, go up higher. Then shalt thou have a worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with thee. So, where it says, for whosoever exalts himself shall be abased, and he that humble himself shall be exalted. See, hey, the most proud, hey, the Most High is humbling the most proud. That's Esau, See? Let me continue off right here. It says, then said he also to him that bade him, when thou makest dinner or supper, call not thy friends, nor thy brethren, neither thy kinsmen, nor thy rich neighbors, lest they also bid thee again, and the recompense be made of thee. But when thou makest a feast, call the poor, the maimed, and the lame, the blind. So basically, your friends, they're not gonna be happy about it. They're not gonna thank you, but it's saying bring the poor and the lame and the blind. It says, and thou shalt be blessed because they're gonna bless you. Because you're helping them out. It says, for they cannot recompense thee, for thou shalt be recompensed at the resurrection of the just. So you're gonna get a reward when Yahweh Shai returns, right? Rabbis NLT says then he turned to his host when you put on a lishan or a banquet, a luncheon or a banquet. He said, don't invite your friends, brothers, relatives, and rich neighbors, for they will invite you back, and they will be your only reward. All right. So they're it's not really reward, but helping the weak, the blind, the lame, you're gonna be blessed. It says they cannot bless you basically, but you shall be blessed, basically when Yahweh Shai comes. All right. All right. So, a little bit you got to clear that. It's like, yeah, I didn't think of a better scripture, but that was nice. Luke 14:11, it says, for whosoever exalted himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. All right. So Trump ain't humble himself at all, right? This man was proud as hell. All right.
Mihailovich is a defense analyst and author. He took to Twitter to explain this in detail. He wrote, and I quote, a subsidence crater forms when an underground explosion causes the overlying material to collapse into the void left behind. Unlike a traditional blast crater, which involves visible ejection of debris, a subsidence crater is caused by structural failure of underground cavities, often leaving a subtle depression with minimal surface disruption. In
Hey, Slack, let me play this back.
wrote, and I quote, a subsidence crater form image is a small crater. The white structure remains unscathed and intact. What does this mean? Mike Mihailovich is a defense analyst and author. He took to Twitter to explain this in detail. He wrote, and I quote, a subsidence crater forms when an underground explosion causes the overlying material to collapse into the void left behind. Unlike a traditional blast crater, which involves visible
Hey, and the point of all this, for us is the fact that America is not winning, right? Esau's the end of the world, right? This thing is crumbling. Yahweh Shai wanted the fire to be set here, right? Because he's on the way. He don't want nothing. He don't want nothing good for Babylon the Great, right? He don't want them to go over there and destroy nothing. He wants to destroy them, So that's the mindset we have in.
ejection of debris. A subsidence crater is caused by structural failure of underground cavities, often leaving a subtle depression with minimal surface disruption. In military terms, a subsidence crater can be a signature of a failed or partial penetration, where the weapon either detonates in a shaft or soft medium, as for example, gravel and soil, fails to reach the intended depth, or triggers collapse in a tunnel or void below the surface. End quote. Mike also shared a compelling graphic to explain why he was
Okay.
confident that the US strike in Fordo had failed spectacularly. What does this say about Motormouth Trump's claims that the US military is the greatest military in the world? While Iran has not translated its threats against the US interest up until now, the parliament in the Islamic Republic has voted overwhelmingly in favor of blocking the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that, but America fucked up. All right. This is Jeremiah 49:7. It says, concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim al Shah of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? That's the it says, flee ye, turn back, go deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. It says, if great gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If these by night they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare. So the Most High is completely dismantling this devil, right? You don't want this devil to attack nothing with bunker busters and make them things work at all. All right. It says, but I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. All right. Job 18:5 says, "Yet a light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him. The steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down." Hey, like I was saying earlier, that's exactly what happened, bro. They wanted to go over there and use some missiles over there in Iran. That was the wrong move. Right now, World War III is before that. It says, "For he is cast into a net by his own feet and walketh upon a snare." That's the point. Hey, Trump stressing. Let me go back out of this. This is I'll start everyone. Psalm 35:1. It says, "Plead my cause, O Lord Yahweh Bashmi Shai, with them that strive with me. Fight against them that fight against me." Hey, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, right, is fighting against the Israelites. Right, the Most High now is destroying these devils. It says, take hold of shield and buckler, and stand up for mine help. Draw out also the spear, and stop the way against them that persecute me, saying to my soul, I am thy salvation. It says, let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. That's exactly what's happening to America. It says, let them in Israel, Benjamin and not a Jew. It says, let them be turned back and brought to confusion that devise my hurt, the banking elites, right? It says, let them be as chaff before the wind, and let the angel of the Lord Yahweh Bashmi chase them. Let their way be dark and slippery, and let the angel of the Lord Yahweh persecute them. It says, for without cause have they hid for me their net in a pit, which without cause they have digged for my soul. Let destruction come upon him unawares, and let his net that he have hid catch himself. Into that very destruction let him fall. And my soul shall be joyful in the Lord Yahweh. Bahashim Yahushua, it shall rejoice in his salvation. Hey, and Lord, when you edify from the lesson, that's the point, above the ball. Shalom. To the elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.